I bought into the entire thing. Every single piece of propaganda that PETA sent me, I read it, downloaded it into my brain, and believed every word of it. I would tell anyone who would listen that this diet right here could save the planet. Back when I believed in a planet, and back when I believed that that planet needed to be saved. Now, the only gravity I know of is a song by John Mayer. Because of veganism, I became a drone, a useful idiot, a label-reading, virtue-signaling, social justice warrior. And every single day that I was vegan, these things got worse and worse. So did my health. But that didn't matter. Not to me and my fat-deficient, malfunctioning vegan brain. No, because you see, I was on a mission. One of which I was so certain. I'm Daphne Rimmel, and most of you know me as the Flat Earth Nurse, and I'm here to tell you why I'm no longer vegan. For the last 16 years, I have been either vegan or vegetarian, with my longest stretch of veganism lasting almost a decade. And during that time, my health all but completely failed me. Health foods and veganism gave me eczema, dry skin, excessive thirst, an electrolyte imbalance that hospitalized me multiple times, a zinc deficiency that lasted 9 years, hypoglycemia, organ failure, liver failure, goiters, kidney stones, and thousands of dollars in hospital bills. You did the diet wrong. Current vegans will use this old adage that I just did the diet wrong and must have been eating nothing but Oreos and pasta. But the truth is that for the longest time that I was vegan and vegetarian, I ate strictly organic foods and loads of vegetables and fruit, and a lot of which were homegrown. This is exactly the problem and the reason I'm taking the time to make this video. I might have actually been better off had I eaten only Oreos, vegan ice cream, and rice pasta instead of kale and broccoli and carrot juice and spinach. And today, I would like to reveal to you a conspiracy hiding right beneath your nose. A conspiracy just as large and insidious as globe Earth. And that is that fruits and vegetables are not all that they are cracked up to be, and might just very well be a scam. These so-called superfoods don't really seem to be super for anyone but the biggest and baddest corporations. More matters. Does it really? And to who? To who does it really matter most? Let's talk, shall we? Spinach, blueberries, pomegranates, and more. We are told that these are superfoods, and the more we eat, the better. More matters. But upon further inspection, and with the application of my own experience, I have to say that these are not superfoods. They aren't super, and I'm not even entirely sure that they're foods. Let's have a look at spinach. It's a goitrogenic food, as well as very high in oxalic acid, and when I dig all the way back in my mind to my first memories of spinach, they were on a cartoon starring a big, strong sailor. You might know him as Popeye. He showed me as a kid that if I want huge muscles, all I need to do is eat spinach, which brings me to my next earliest memory about spinach. How it looked so sad and gross and wilted inside my cheese ravioli. It was ruining everything. I instinctively knew, even as a child, I shouldn't be eating that shit. My mom told me not to worry, that it was just quote-unquote herbs and spices. But she did that just to shut me up and to get me to eat it. And with the calcium from the cheese mixing into the oxalic acid from the spinach, she was probably helping me to form my very first kidney stone. Thanks, Mom. So maybe it isn't really that big of a secret anymore that websites ending in .gov are not to be trusted. But let me make myself absolutely clear here. It is the government telling you that fruits and vegetables are good for you and to eat more of them. It is the government websites telling you that you need to stop eating meat because it is bad for you, or that raw milk is bad for you. And it bears repeating that if you decide to cite a government website as an argument to combat the logic and over 16 years of experience I'm expressing in these videos, it just isn't going to work. As it turns out, fake meats aren't as good of a source of nutrients as my homestead eggs, and I stopped calling myself a vegan when I started organic homesteading, something vegans are inherently against. When they start going on about a cage-free world and how chickens only lay eggs and those eggs are a menstruation, therefore I shouldn't be eating them, and they call me a period eater, well, I would really like to remind them that seeds are the sperm of the plant, and as they dump all of these chia seeds and sesame seeds all over everything, I would technically call you cum guzzlers. These small details don't seem to bother vegans, kind of like this small detail of earthworms. That's right. Your fruits and veggies themselves aren't even vegan. How is that possible? Earthworms. Everything you have ever put in your mouth was grown in the soil or a medium that contains earthworms. There is no such thing as a plant-based diet because plants are not the fucking base. Minerals are. And they come from a lot of dead plants, dead animals, and dead bugs. Nothing here is vegan. Not the air you breathe, and not the tires on your car. But Daphne, I sprout my own food under an LED light inside wet paper towels that no earthworms had to die or work hard for me to eat. Yeah, well, let me know how long that works for you, because sprouting might very well be the biggest scam to come into the health food world. Sprouting things like spinach and kale is not a great way to get in loads of nutrients, but is actually a way to get in loads of anti-nutrients and build kidney stones and goiters even faster than eating full-grown leafy greens. As I was getting discharged from the hospital for my third kidney stone, I asked the doctor about how my diet could be inducing this problem. He said he was not trained in the area of nutrition and said that kidney stones are a huge mystery. He said that there are studies being done currently about what causes kidney stones, but as of right now, there is a lot of etiology missing, and things are completely unknown. Gee, Doc, it wouldn't happen to be related to all these fucking leafy greens you say are so good for me, would it? And this, my friends, is what they don't want you to know. That all the green tea and green veggies and green leaves that they say are such superfoods, they aren't so super after all. At least not for your body anyway. I'm not denying that these foods are super for the corporate profits and pharmaceutical revenues, and that might actually be their intended purpose. These assholes are telling us to drink loads of water every single day, eat a low-fat diet, and work out, work out, work out. This is a recipe for disaster, and you would have to ignore hundreds of red flags and your own intuition in order to keep it up for any length of time. I know I did. Here are some red flags that vegans have to ignore in order to continue being vegan. Soy, almonds, strawberries, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage, and broccoli are not health foods, not even in the least. These foods are goitrogenic endocrine disruptors that interfere with thyroid functions. These foods enlarge the thyroid and caused me a lot of trouble. My doctors, both natural and regular, told me that my issue was eating too many of these goitrogenic foods. I stopped eating these foods, and my thyroid returned to normal. And this is a logic that even vegans cannot combat or defeat. Spinach, kale, green tea, black tea, pomegranates, blueberries are all high in oxalic acid. These foods block the body's absorption of calcium and all dietary calcium. This is then processed through the kidneys, where it forms a stone. Spinach in itself is a recipe for a kidney stone, as it is both high in calcium and oxalic acid. This makes spinach one of the most dangerous things that we could possibly eat. In addition to that, it is also a goitrogen and messes with the thyroid. I visited the Hare Krishna temple and attended their vegetarian non-GMO gardening classes and ate their free vegetarian organic buffet. It was nice, but they were all fat. Most of them were actually obese, just like most Indian women. Sure, they're vegetarians, but somehow the women are fat or obese just on beans and rice. The men usually look emaciated. Another red flag is that yet Eskimos who eat raw meat daily are fit, strong, and live forever, and these are the red flags that vegans have to ignore in order to stay vegan. Do you want some more? Because I could do this all day. Carb-based meals will never be enough to fill you up for longer than 2 hours. Fruits and vegetables alone will never be enough to fill you up. The vegans who juice carrots and sip warm lemon water with apple cider vinegar in the morning and buy only organic plant-based goods and shit 8 times a day don't look any healthier than the town drunk, nor do they live longer. The oldest living people that I have met eat meat, swear by bacon, and drink little to no water. How is that? How have we been lied to yet again? Veganism comes with the hidden agenda of environmentalism. There isn't enough water, but you sure should be drinking more of it. You don't know how to grow fruits and vegetables, but boy, we are so sure you should be eating them 10 times a day. There isn't enough water on Earth to raise all of the animals you're going to want for milk and meat, so you should probably just stop eating milk and meat. These lies must stop, and the vegans and environmentalists that have teamed up are coming for your homestead, your livestock, your pets, your wood-burning stove, your fireplace, your meat, your family. PETA already sends out propaganda that keeping a cat or dog is a crime, that it's animal cruelty. If these folks get their way, we will have what they call a cage-free world. One in which you won't even be able to keep so much as a chicken safe at night, or own a damn cat carrier. The environmentalists don't want people living out in nature, and in the future, we will all be forced to live inside a city of some type, because housing in nature will be against Agenda 21. So once we are stripped of our homesteads and our livestock and all that supports us, we can then be herded into the cities where we can become more efficient consumers. If you don't see that everything people have fought for, they have gotten, then you are blind. And if you can't tell that it has led us straight into a world of shit, you have no sense of smell. So if you happen to be blind and have no sense of smell, allow me to break it down for you. The government is not going to stop until every one of us is living in an overpriced micro apartment and we have no kitchen, just a small mini fridge, microwave, trash can. I have looked at the layouts for these new, improved, efficient housing. There is no sink outside the bathroom. Just let that sink in. This means that new housing that they have in mind for almost everyone has no kitchen, and they would like you to just come home from your shit job, pull out a vegan TV dinner, pop it into the microwave. You won't need a chicken slop bucket because you won't have chickens. You won't have a sink to do your dirty dishes because there won't be any. You will be relieved of all household chores, and you will become an efficient slave consumer like on Idiocracy. There will be no candles or fire, no natural heat whatsoever. You won't even be so much allowed as a lighter. Remember, you evolved to vaporizing technology. And when the power goes out in the midwinter, and you have no free heat and only batteries to run a shitty made-in-China flashlight, will you then realize how fucked you are, and that all these dystopian societies that they've depicted in movies were just them telling you how life was gonna fucking be? That time is upon us, so act accordingly.